Good evening. Tonight, the Culver-Stockton Theater Department presents two radio dramas, Carmilla and the Shadow People. We start with Carmilla, a story by Sheridan Le Fanu, adapted by Lucille Fletcher. Le Fanu's Carmilla was a favorite horror story of mid-19th century England. So, without further ado, live from Alexander Campbell Auditorium on the campus of Culver-Stockton College, here is Sheridan Le Fanu's Carmilla.
Dr. Witherspoon speaking.
Is this the Reverend Witherspoon?
Yes.
This is J.S. Dodge. Do you remember me, Dr. Witherspoon? I have the big place on Maple Hill.
Oh, yes, Mr. Dodge, I remember you.
I'm in trouble, Dr. Witherspoon. Can you come over to my house at once?
Why, of course.
Thank you. It's a matter of life and death. Dr. Witherspoon, my daughter Helen is dying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You must help me save her.
Only God can do that, Mr. Dodge.
We'll talk about that later. Come, she's in the bedroom here.
Who's there?
It's I, Mrs. Ryder, with Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes, sir.
Helen? Helen, it's Papa.
Is Carmilla with you?
Here's the minister, Helen. You remember Dr. Witherspoon?
I want Carmilla. Why don't they send Carmilla to me? What have you done to her?
There, dear. Lie down.
Bring her back. Bring her back.
You best go out to the room, sir. It makes her waste her breath.
Go find Carmilla. Find her. Bring her back.
She's been like that for hours, Dr. Witherspoon.
Can't the doctors do anything?
Oh, the doctors are fools.
Mr. Dodge, who is this person your daughter keeps calling for? This Carmilla?
I'll tell you everything in a moment. But first, Dr. Witherspoon, there's something I must check. You are an antiquarian, aren't you?
Yes, in a small way. I've written some pamphlets for the New England Historical Society on Old Puritan.
Sit down, please. Before I tell you my story, I want you to look at me. Do I seem normal to you? Or insane?
Why, you seem rather overwrought, sir, but I would say quite sane.
Then perhaps you will believe me.
The story began 2 months earlier, on a warm night in June, when J.S. Dodge heard a car skid, followed by a terrific crash. He called Tony, their gardener. They ran down the drive to the state highway. A black limousine of some fancy foreign make had taken the curve too fast, sideswiped a tree, and landed half in the ditch. Glass was lying all over the road. A tall woman, dressed in black, was standing nearby and crying her eyes out.
Oh, get her out of there! Oh, my poor little Carmilla! For heaven's sakes, get her out! She's dead!
What's the matter, madam? Anything we can do?
Oh, I don't know. She's in there.
Who's in there?
My daughter, Carmilla. Oh, we hit something. I can't get the back door open.
Open it. Here, Tony, give
Yes,
it.
Mr. Dodge.
Okay, now, hold. Why, it opens quite easily.
Oh, it does? Oh, get her out quickly, please.
Here she is, on the floor. Okay, Tony, now take it easy.
Yes, Mr. Dodge.
All right there. Give me that other auto.
All right.
We'll lay it on the grass over here.
Is she dead?
No, just seems to have fainted. She'll be all right. Run up to the house, honey. Get some
Yes, Mr. Dodge.
Oh, I was in such a hurry. I have to get to Canada by tomorrow morning.
Canada. Why, that's a good 700 miles.
I know, but I've got to be there. She's opening her eyes. Carmilla, speak to Mama. Are you all right?
Mama, where am I?
Tony returned with the water and Helen. Helen had always been a great one to help people, and, well, she fussed over the girl, gave her water, spoke nicely to her, and it wasn't any time at all before the girl was up and on her feet again. When what does the mother do but ask a funny question?
You wouldn't happen to know of any good hotels anywhere around this neighborhood, would you?
Hotel, let's see this one.
I don't want it for myself. I want it for Carmilla.
You mean you're not taking her with you to Canada?
Oh, I don't see how I can. I've got to be there by tomorrow morning at the very latest, and she's certainly in no condition to travel.
Papa? Why can't you stay with us?
With us?
Why, yes, Papa. We've got loads of room. Oh, please, Papa, please. Say yes, please do.
It was an awkward moment. Mr. Dodge didn't ordinarily take to strangers, but these people were well-bred, rich, and, well, Helen just begged him. Ever since her mother died, Mr. Dodge had never been able to resist anything she ever wanted. He knew she'd been lonely out there in the country so far from her friends. So he said yes.
Goodbye, Mr. Dodge. I don't know how I shall ever thank you enough.
That's all right. We'll look after her. And you think you'll be back in 3 weeks?
Oh, at the very latest. It was so kind of you.
In any case you don't come back my mind, is there any way I can get in touch with you?
Oh, of course. You can reach me in Canada. Just a moment, I'll give you my card. Here it is. Mrs. C. Wood, 1211 Rue d'Ange, Quebec, Canada. I haven't gotten the telephone number with me, but the long-distance operator will give it to you.
Well, thanks. Thanks a lot. Goodbye and lots of luck.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Carmilla, darling.
Goodbye, Mama.
Bye.
Bye.
The car drove off like a house of fire, seemed to scare even the dogs. They heard one howling far down the road long after it went by. He couldn't tell why, but Mr. Dodge felt depressed. But Helen was as happy as a lark about the whole thing. He had never realized before how lonely she must have been all by herself, until he saw how she acted with Carmilla.
Carmilla, are you up yet?
Come in.
Good morning. Or maybe I should say good afternoon. Do you know it's almost 2 o'clock?
But I still feel tired. Do you know what time Mama and I always get up at home? 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, Carmilla.
That's a real time to get up, when the light is all soft and golden, and the sky is pale blue, like a painting by Mueller, and the birds are going to sleep.
Oh, but you miss everything if you get up that late.
Oh, no, you don't.
Well, come on now. I've got a million things to show you. The house and the pool and the garden. Look, Carmilla, isn't this just an adorable summer house? My mother used to like to sit here too, just before she died.
Death
Oh,
doesn't...
let's not talk about it.
What a beautiful passion flower vine.
That's Tony's doing. He raises them. They're supposed to be very rare.
Oh, look at this flower. It's like an exquisite insect. Oh, look at these trickles of lavender, and its hungry green stamens curving upward, like claws.
Tony tells me the reason they're called passion flowers is because they're a symbol of the passion of our love.
Silly superstition. They're really a symbol of human passion. Well, everything about them is wild and hungry. Do you know what my favorite flower is?
What?
The night blooming cereus.
I've never seen it.
Well, I have. Many times. It blooms in secret, you know, and only at night, in utter darkness. The flowers open up like moons.
Oh, how beautiful. I wish I could see one sometime.
Oh, you will. We'll go hunting for them some night together. Soon.
Carmilla? Carmilla? Oh, it's you.
Yes.
You didn't tell me you played. What a strange piece that is. What's it called?
Longueurs.
Long years. What an odd name. And yet it's somehow appropriate.
Well, it's my favorite piece. What does it remind you of?
I don't know.
Well, it reminds me of moonlight. And a very old stone fountain. It's cool there. It's silvery. It's like the moonlight turned into silver water. And I can feel it all over my body. Well, does the music make you feel that way too?
A little. Yes, I can almost see it. The fountain and the moonlight. When you describe it, Carmilla.
We'll continue with our production of Carmilla after these messages.
Patty cake cookies. Patty cake cookies. Patty cake baker, you're a famous man.
Well, all I do is bake them just as quick as I can.
What is your secret, Mr. Patty Cake Man?
I sample them, ladies, one for each pan.
Children's Dutch oven. There's more in the oven. Hey, Mom!
The patty cake cookies on the shopping list.
Oatmeal, chocolate chip, and sugar mint. Up teen varieties on your market shelf.
Why, they're so good, you're lucky I don't eat them all myself.
Patty cake cookies. Patty cake cookies. Patty cake cookies have you satisfied?
Through cellophane package, you can see what's inside.
What makes them taste so good, patty cake man?
Well, to tell the truth, a sample two from each pan.
Take a minute, see what's in it. When you're buying a vitamin product, read the label. Make sure you get all the vitamins recommended by government experts. You do in VIMS and 3 essential minerals also. Get VIMS at your druggist. VI for vitamins, double MS for minerals. VIMS. This is CSC Radio Theater.
Now, back to Culver-Stockton Theater's presentation of Lucille Fletcher's Carmilla. She was a funny sort of girl, this Carmilla, romantic, temperamental, full of crazy notions. But after you were with her for a while, you couldn't help liking her. As the days went by, Carmilla became like a regular member of the Dodges' little family. And then...
Well, girls, looks like you'll have to give up some of your gallivanting for a while.
Oh, Papa, why?
There seems to be some kind of epidemic going around. Just been reading about it in the newspaper.
What kind of epidemic?
No.
Goodness. Did you hear that, Carmilla?
What is it, darling?
12 people in the next county have just died of an epidemic.
Really?
Yes, and Papa wants us to stay home from now on.
Oh, dear. Well, that would spoil our picnic tomorrow.
You girls planning to go on a picnic tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that wouldn't do any harm.
Oh, but this is a picnic in the churchyard.
The churchyard?
Yes, Carmilla's going to show me the funny old tombstones. We're going to go exploring, too. Carmilla says there are a whole lot of the Wood family buried in the churchyard. She wants to check up and see if any of them were related to her.
Mr. Dodge kept a sharp eye on them from that night on. After all, Helen was all he had in the world. As for Carmilla, he didn't want to answer for anything to that mother of hers. One night at supper, he noticed that Helen was unusually pale.
Helen, what's the matter? Aren't you feeling well? You look pale.
Oh, maybe I'm just tired. I haven't been getting very much sleep lately. Bad dreams, I guess.
Oh, I've been having bad dreams, too. I haven't slept a wink for the last 3 nights.
Have you, Carmilla? You never told me.
Well, I didn't want to depress you. But every night, I dream that I'm awake. And then suddenly a great black cat jumps over the sill into my room.
Well, that doesn't sound like much to me.
Wait a minute. The cat begins to pace, slowly up and down the room, up and down. And as it paces, it grows larger and larger until it's as big as a tiger, and suddenly it jumps up on my bed.
Helen, what's the matter?
Well, nothing. I've been dreaming the very same thing myself, except that the black cat seems to turn into a wolf, a horrible, mangy wolf with long, black, pointed fangs.
Mr. Dodge, did you ever hear of such a thing?
No, it's mighty funny. I don't like the look of it at all. Not at all.
And then Mr. Dodge consulted a physician about his daughter's health. The doctor said she was only a little anemic. At first, Dodge believed him, but there are things in this world about which the medical profession knows nothing. That night, after everybody had gone to bed, Dodge was awakened by... It seemed to come from Helen's room. Dodge jumped up out of bed and ran down the hall. Mrs. Rudd met him at the stairs.
Oh, excuse my appearance, Mr. Dodge, but did you hear that scream?
Yes, from Miss Helen's room. Why, the door's locked!
Yes, sir. Miss Helen always locks her doors at night now.
Good heavens! Helen! Helen, are you all right? Speak to me! She doesn't answer. Knock on Miss Carmilla's door. We can get in that way.
Miss Carmilla locks her doors too, sir.
What?
The 2 girls are always thinking they'll be murdered, sir.
Good heavens! Helen! Wait a minute. I think I hear somebody in there. Something's moving.
Papa! Papa!
Helen, quickly! The door! Helen! What are you doing on the floor? Good heavens, there's blood over everything.
Carmilla.
What happened to you, Helen? Why did you scream like that?
I screamed because I saw Carmilla covered with blood.
Where?
At the foot of my bed. I was having the dream about the cat again, and I woke up, and there she was, standing at the foot of my bed, all covered with blood. Didn't you see her run out of the room?
No, dear. No. You must have dreamed that too. Mrs. Rudd, knock on Miss Carmilla's door, will you?
Yes, sir.
See if she's all right.
Oh, Papa!
No, it's all right, dear. It's all right.
Miss Carmilla, are you all right?
Breathe.
Miss Carmilla? Oh, sir, she doesn't answer. Shall I run downstairs and get my pass key?
All right, Mrs. Rudd, and hurry.
Something's happened to Carmilla.
Now. Take it easy, dear. We'll see about Carmilla in a minute. Now. Tell me, Helen, where did all this blood come from?
I don't know. Perhaps from Carmilla. Her housecoat was soaked with it. All I know is she's...
Helen, please. Now get a hold of yourself, my dear. Stop crying now. You say Carmilla was covered with blood.
Yes.
Oh, but look, dear, you must have been dreaming. There's no blood on the floor at all.
I tell you, I saw her, Papa.
The only blood in this room is on your pillow and your nightdress.
I've got the key, sir. But first, Tony wants to speak to you.
Tony?
Yes, sir. He says he's just seen Miss Carmilla.
Good.
Please, Mr. Dodge. I just seen Miss Carmilla 10 minutes ago walking in the garden. It's true, Mr. Dodge. I swear it. Miss Carmilla, she walks just like that in the garden many times late at night.
They searched for Carmilla all night long. There was no trace of her. Her bed had not been slept in, and all the doors leading into her room were locked. The one window looking out over the garden was open, but the drop to the ground below was a good 60 feet. Helen was hysterical, and of course Mr. Dodge was beside himself, thinking how all of this was going to sound to her mother, when suddenly the next day, just as Dodge was calling up the local sheriff, he heard Helen's voice calling him from upstairs.
Papa, come up here. Carmilla's back.
He ran up, and sure enough, there was Carmilla, as fresh as a daisy, sitting on the edge of Helen's bed.
Oh, Mr. Dodge, what on earth is all this fuss about?
Carmilla, where have you been?
What's this? I've been in bed.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Well, then something's wrong. As far as I know, I've been sound asleep in there all night long. I just woke up half an hour ago. I got up, I took a shower, I got dressed, I came in here to say good morning to Helen.
If you think you're being funny, I may as well tell you we're in no mood for kidding. Helen has been hysterical all night. Maybe you've got a boyfriend or someone you go to meet in the village.
A boyfriend? What an idea.
Well, why not? For what other reason would you sneak out every night?
Every night? Who says I sneak out every night?
Tony, the gardener. He says he's seen you plenty of times in the garden, or walking down the drive. And not only that, he told me another thing. He's seen you sneaking back into the house in the morning, too.
Well, it's a lie.
Papa.
I don't want to hurt you, Carmilla, but be frank with me. Otherwise, I'll have to take some kind of action.
Papa,
I can't have
please.
any guest of mine sneaking and prowling around the house at all hours of the night, Helen. Where did that blood on your dress come from last night? How did Carmilla get out of her bed? She hasn't explained one word of this to us. If she won't, why, there's nothing more to do but wire her mother.
Oh, no.
I swear to you, Mr. Dodge, I have nothing to tell. Perhaps you were dreaming. Perhaps we were all dreaming. Even Tony. Oh, I have it. I have the solution.
What is it?
I'll bet that I've been walking in my sleep.
Well, of all things, why didn't we think of that?
Well, I haven't done it since I was a child, but it used to be a great habit with me. They used to say I had an uncanny sense of places. I could find my way through locked doors.
Oh, of course. See, Papa? How simple.
Dodge wasn't satisfied with the whole business. Too many things just didn't seem to click. The blood on Helen's pillow, the locked doors, the 60-foot jump. He still thought Carmilla was holding out on him. There seemed only one thing to do.
Hello, long distance, sir. Will you connect me with Quebec, please? Quebec, Canada. I'd like to speak to a Mrs. C. Wood, 1211 Rue des Anges, Quebec, Canada. I don't know the number.
You were calling a C. Wood, 1211 Rue des Anges, Quebec, Canada?
Yes, that's right.
New York calling Quebec, Canada.
Is this Quebec?
Will you connect me with the Mrs. C. Wood, 1211 Rue des Anges, Quebec, Canada?
Just one moment, please. I beg your pardon, but there is no Seawood listed at 1211 Rue des Anges.
Thank you.
1211 Rue des Anges is a cemetery.
When he hung up that receiver, his knees were trembling. He didn't know what to think, but he had suspicions, plenty of them. Stay tuned for the conclusion of Carmilla after these messages.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron, the iron you need to build healthy blood, to keep your body functioning properly, to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Ironized yeast tablets provide you with a simple and effective way to get the daily iron your body requires. Ironized yeast is concentrated iron tonic combined with high-potency brewer's yeast, one of the natural sources of vitamin B1, and every daily dose of ironized yeast gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Of course, pallor and weakness can come from other causes, so see your doctor regularly. But medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women, particularly those between 15 and 50, and many, many men, lack sufficient iron. So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, get new pep, vigor, and color for only a few pennies a day. Start taking ironized yeast tomorrow.
We toast them crisp, we toast them light, you can tell by the taste. We toast them, they're a tasty treat, so good to eat, delicious and light from Posties. Toasties. And you know what? We like 'em.
And now the conclusion of Culver-Stockton Theater's production of Lucille Fletcher's Carmilla. Mr. Dodge walked into the living room. It was late afternoon, and Carmilla was playing the piano.
Carmilla.
Oh.
Carmilla, when did you last hear from your mother?
Mama? Well, let's see. Today's Friday. Thursday, Wednesday.
Tell me the truth. You haven't heard from her at all.
I guess not.
Isn't that rather strange?
Well, not particularly. Mama's always been lazy about writing. She's like me.
But you were ill when she left. Wouldn't she want to know whether you had recovered?
Oh, she knows I'm all right. Helen and I sent her a telegram.
To what address?
1211 Rue des Anges, Quebec, Canada.
It hasn't been returned.
Of course not. That's Mama's permanent address.
Carmilla, you're lying to me. 1211 Rue des Anges is a cemetery.
Cemetery?
Yes, don't pretend you know nothing about it, because you do. You and your mother are a fine team, all right. A fine team.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Thought you could fool me with that phony accident, didn't you? Thought you could worm my business secrets out of me by striking up a friendship with Helen. Well, it was a smart idea, but it didn't work out. See?
I've never heard of anything like this in my life.
Oh, you haven't?
Mr. Dodge, if you think that I came here after your money, you're vastly mistaken.
Then explain what you were doing prowling around the house last night.
I've already told you. I was walking in my sleep.
What were you doing in my daughter's room?
I wasn't in her room. She was dreaming.
What were those bloodstains on her dress?
I know nothing of bloodstains. I tell you, I haven't the faintest idea.
I have a good mind to turn you over to the police, young lady, but I won't, for Helen's sake. Provided you leave this house at once. Mrs.
Well, where shall I go? I know no one and I haven't any money.
Yes, sir.
Start packing Miss Carmilla's things at once.
Yes, sir. Be careful. She's got a letter opener in her hand.
You! You little fool. Queered yourself that time.
Papa, what's happened? Who screamed like that?
Oh, Helen, darling, your father's going to send me away.
Papa, what for? Oh, Papa, how could you be so unkind? Why, Carmilla's my dearest friend.
He says that I've lied to both of you and that I came here to spy on you and to rob you.
Papa, how could you ever think of such a thing?
I'm sorry, Helen, but this is my affair, and I have every good reason to think that Carmilla is not a real friend.
But she's done nothing. I feel so weak.
Helen? Helen!
She's fainted.
Mr. Dodge carried Helen upstairs and called Dr. Bradley. He worked over her for 2 hours, but couldn't even bring her back to her senses. She lay all that afternoon and evening in a deep coma. She didn't move, scarcely seemed to breathe. Downstairs in the living room, Carmilla was playing her everlasting tune. It seemed to mock Dodge. Finally, he couldn't stand it any longer. He stood up to call Mrs. Rudd when suddenly he saw the door to Carmilla's room open very slowly. She went into Helen's room. She didn't speak.
Carmilla?
Oh. Good evening, Mr. Dodge. Surprised to see me.
I thought you were playing the piano.
I am. You thought that you could keep me out of here, didn't you? You thought that Helen would let me be sent away. Do you think that walls or doors or locks could keep me away from Helen? No, Mr. Dodge. She's mine. Oh, do you hear that? Mine. Look how beautifully she's happy now. And do you know what she's dreaming of, Mr. Dodge? I do. She's dreaming about a fountain. An old stone fountain.
Get out of here!
Oh, but soon she'll dream of a cat. A great black cat who jumps over her window.
Keep away from that bed!
With one leap, she jumped on Helen's bed, her teeth bared like fangs, like the pointed fangs of a wolf. And then suddenly the room went dark, and Dodge could hear Helen struggling on the bed, and then... Dodge groped his way towards the bed. He could see nothing of it but a great black mass that swelled instantly until it covered the bed like a cloud. He struck at it with his...
Would you stop laughing at me? This happened last night, Dr. Witherspoon. Since then, I've been almost crazy. I know everything now. I know that my daughter has only one chance to live.
And that is?
That is if we destroy this monster who is draining her strength. This incubus, this vampire.
Vampire? Oh, vampires are mythical. They're like witches or ghosts. Mr. Dodge, you're sure that this all hasn't been brought on somewhat by your own state of mind?
My own state of mind. Good heavens, what are you insinuating, Dr. Witherspoon?
Your daughter's dreadful illness. The shock, perhaps.
Dr. Witherspoon, I've called you in to help me. I've given you all the evidence. There is no time to waste. Now tell me, from your antiquarian studies of the old Puritan families, what do you know about a family named Wood?
Wood?
I have an old portrait here my daughter picked up at a village auction just before the epidemic. It's supposed to be a picture of one of the Wood family, Mircalla Wood. Helen bought it because she thought it was an image of Carmilla. Here it is.
Oh, yes. 17th century, most attractive.
Who is this Mircalla Wood? Do you know anything about her?
Nothing very important.
What is it?
She was hanged on the village gallows as a witch.
A witch? Dr. Witherspoon, take me to her grave.
This is the old wood plot. It hasn't been used for more than a century. Oh, dear me, the grass is so very wet. Now, let me see. Josiah Wood, Adrian Wood, Sarah Wood, Rachel Wood, beloved wife of... Oh, here it is. Mircalla Wood, born 1619, died 1638. There's an epitaph here, too, but I can't read it.
It's Carmilla.
Carmilla, my dear sir, this poor creature has been dead for over 300 years.
You heard me. Didn't the book say that they can live forever as long as they have the blood of living things? Carmilla, Mircalla... Carmilla, the same letters. It's the same name twisted around.
My dear Mr. Dodge, calm yourself. Here, come back into the car.
No, Tony, hand me that shovel.
Yes, Mr. Dodge.
Mr. Dodge, what are you going to do?
I'm going to dig her out of there. I'm going to destroy her once and for all.
You have no proof that the body of this poor witch is the same as this Carmilla. You have no proof that this friend of your daughter's even is a vampire.
Don't stop, Tony. Keep on digging.
Yes, Mr. Dodge.
Are you mad, sir? Vampires don't exist. They're creatures of the imagination. This is sacrilege, Mr. Dodge. I shall have to report you to the police.
I struck the coffin, Mr. Dodge.
Thank heaven. It's getting dark. It'll be night in a few minutes. Here, give me that
Where
rope.
are you going, Mr. Dodge?
Into the grave. Have to haul it up out of
That
the
rope's not strong enough, Mr. Dodge. I'm afraid that she'd break.
Then I'll smash in the lid down here. Hand me the hammer.
All
Hand
right,
the
sir.
stake. What's that?
Huh?
Police, quick, the
Yes,
hammer.
sir.
Curse the witch. Tougher than I thought. Here, come down
All
here.
right, Mr. Dodge.
Take a shovel and beat in that end while I smash
All
open
right,
this
sir.
one.
Stop that in the name of the law. What do you two fellas think you're doing there?
Please, Sheriff, I can explain everything. Just give me 1 minute more.
Get down there, men. Take that hammer and shovel away from them.
All right.
No, you... my arm.
Grave robbing, eh?
You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing. Anyway, that's what Dr. Witherspoon says. Okay, boys, take them back to the courthouse.
This is a matter of life or death, I warn you. There's a vampire lying in that coffin. A vampire.
Listen to them,
Do
boys.
you want to know who's been causing all those deaths in the village? That body lying right there. It's been killing all your people, one by one, living on their blood.
Oh, he's
Let me open
cracked.
the lid. I'll prove it to you. You see that tombstone? It says Mircalla Wood died 1638. Died 1638. 300 years ago. That coffin should contain a handful of dust. I'll show you that it contains a body as fresh as any of us. A young girl with red hair.
Take them to the courthouse, boys. We don't got no more time to waste.
For the last time, Sheriff, before it's too late. Listen, do you hear that? That's it. She's coming to herself. Out of the coffin there. Stop her. Stop her before it's too late. Give me the stake. The stake!
I don't hear nothing. Come on.
Oh, Mr. Dodge, sir. I thought you'd never come back.
How's Helen?
You must be brave, sir. She's gone. She passed away just about a half an hour ago while Miss Carmilla was playing the piano downstairs.
Miss Carmilla?
Yes, sir. She came in about an hour ago and began to play. Miss Helen heard her from her room. It seemed to soothe her, and she smiled at me. Carmilla's come back, she said. She's so lovely. Tell her to come upstairs. But before I could go downstairs to get Miss Carmilla, she passed away.
Oh, God! Oh, my God!
No, sir. If you'll excuse me, I'll just go in and tell Miss Carmilla now. Someone ought to tell her before very long. She loves Miss Helen so very much.
You've just heard the Culver-Stockton College Theater Department's presentation of Carmilla, a story by Sheridan Le Fanu, adapted for radio by Lucille Fletcher. The part of Mr. Dodge was played by Spencer Shively, Carmilla by Courtney Deeds, Helen by Cassie Williams, Reverend Witherspoon by Krista Barth, Mrs. Rudd and New York telephone operator by Alexis Milan, and Tony by Noah Clauser. The cast also includes Trevor Pruitt as the sheriff, Emma Hackett as the deputy, Jessica Andrews as Carmilla's mother and Quebec telephone operator. Morgan Zavoral was our narrator, and Trevor Pruitt and Emma Hackett were our Foley artists. Coming up next, the Culver-Stockton Theater Department presents The Shadow People.
Elaine, have you been... have you seen anything else since you spoke to me last?
No, I haven't. Ever since Mother died, nothing's happened.
Well, I only hope that means...
What's that?
It came from upstairs. Come on.
Oh, you don't think...
I don't know what to think. I only hope that...
David, if anything's happened to him...
We'll see in a moment.
There's no light in his room.
You wait here, Elaine. Where's the light?
Over to your left. David, what's wrong? Why didn't you leave the light on?
Your father's dead, Elaine.
The Shadow People, in a few moments. Before that, we are honored to have Dr. Patrick Allen from the Culver-Stockton College's Department of English. Dr. Allen will be reading two sections, James Weldon Johnson's The White Witch and Christina Rossetti's Jesse Cameron. Here is Dr. Patrick Allen.
The White Witch. O brothers mine, take care, take care. The great White Witch rides out tonight. Trust not your prowess nor your strength. Your only safety lies in flight. For in her glance there is a snare, and in her smile there is a blight. The great White Witch you have not seen? Then, younger brothers mine, forsooth, like nursery children you have looked for ancient hag and snaggletooth. But no, not so. The witch appears in all the glowing charms of youth. Her lips are like carnations, red. Her face like newborn lilies, fair. Her eyes like ocean waters, blue. She moves with subtle grace and air, and all about her head there floats the golden glory of her hair. But though she always thus appears in form of youth and mood of mirth, unnumbered centuries are hers. The infant planets saw her birth, the child of throbbing life she is, twin sisters to the greedy earth. And back behind those smiling lips and down within those laughing eyes, and underneath the soft caress of hand and voice and purring sighs, the shadow of the panther lurks, the spirit of the vampires. For I have seen the great white witch, and she has led me to her lair, and I have kissed her red, red lips and cruel face, so white and fair. Around me she has twined her arms and bound me with her yellow hair. I felt those red lips burn and sear my body like a living coal, obeyed the power of those eyes as the needle trembles to the pole, and did not care, although I felt the strength go ebbing from my soul. Oh, she has seen your strong young limbs and heard your laughter loud and gay, and in your voices she has caught the echo of a far-off day, when man was closer to the earth, and she has marked you for her prey. She feels the old Antaean strength in you, the great dynamic beat of primal passions, and she sees in you the last besieged retreat of love relentless, lusty, fierce, love pain ecstatic, cruel, sweet. O brothers mine, take care, the great white witch rides out tonight. O younger brothers mine, beware, look not upon her beauty bright, for in her glance there is a snare, and in her smile there is a blight. Jesse Cameron. Jesse Cameron, hear me but this once, quoth he. Good luck go with you, neighbor's son, for I'm no mate for you, quoth she. Day was verging toward the night, there beside the moaning sea. Dimness overtook the light, there where the breakers be. Oh, Jesse Cameron, I have loved you long and true. Good luck go with you, neighbor's son, but I'm no mate for you. She was a careless, fearless girl, and made her answer plain. Outspoken she to earl or churl, kind-hearted in the main, but somewhat heedless with her tongue, and apt at causing pain. A mirthful maiden, she and young, most fair for bliss or bane. Oh, long ago I told you so, I tell you so today. Go your way, and let me go, just my own free way. The sea swept in with moan and foam, quickening the stretch of sand. They stood almost in sight of home. He strove to take her hand. Oh, can't you take your answer then, and won't you understand? For me, you're not the man of men. I've other plans are planned. You're good for Madge, or good for Sis, or good for Kate, maybe. But what's to me the good of this? Well, you're not good for me. They stood together on the beach, they two alone, and louder waxed his urgent speech, his patience almost gone. Oh, say but one kind word to me, Jesse Cameron. I'd be too proud to beg, quoth she, and pride was in her tone, and pride was in her lifted head, and in her angry eye, and in her foot, which might have fled, but would not fly. Some say that he had gypsy blood, that in his heart was guile, yet he had gone through fire and flood, only to win her smile. Some say his grandam was a witch, a black witch from beyond the Nile, who kept an image in a niche and walked with it the while. And by her hut far down the lane, some say they would not pass at night, lest they should hear an unked strain or see an unked sight. Alas for Jesse Cameron, the sea crept moaning nigher. She should have hastened to be gone, the sea swept higher, breaking by her. She should have hastened to her home, while yet the west was flushed with fire. But now her feet are in the foam, the sea foam sweeping higher. O mother, linger at your door and light your lamp to make it plain. But Jessie, she comes home no more again. He stood together on the strand, they only each by each. Home, her home, was close at hand, utterly out of reach. Her mother in the chimney nook, heard a startled seagull screech, but never turned her head to look towards the darkening beach. Neighbors here and neighbors there heard one scream, as if a bird, shrilly screaming, cleft the air. That was all they heard. Jessie, she comes home no more, comes home never. Her lover's steps sound at his door, no more forever. And boats may search upon the sea and search along the river, but none know where the bodies be. Sea winds that shiver, sea birds that breast the blast, sea waves swelling, keep the secret first and last of their dwelling. Whether the tide so hemmed them round with its pitiless flow, that when they would have gone they found no way to go. Whether she scorned him to the last with words flung to and fro, or clung to him when hope was past, none will ever know. Whether he helped or hindered her, threw up his life or lost it well, the troubled sea, for all its stir, finds no voice to tell. Only watchers by the dying have thought they heard one pray, wordless, urgent, and replying. One seemed to say him nay. And watchers by the dead have heard a windy swell from miles away, with sobs and screams, but not a word distinct for them to say. And watchers out at sea have caught glimpse of a pale gleam here or there, come and gone as quick as thought, which might be hand or hair.
You have just heard 2 readings by Dr. Patrick Allen of the Culver-Stockton College's Department of English, James Weldon's Johnson's The White Witch, and Christina's Rossetti's Jessie Cameron. Thank you, Dr. Allen. We now return to the Culver-Stockton Theater Department's radio dramas. And now, the Culver-Stockton Theater Department brings you a production from the Hall of Fantasy. Come with me, my friends. We shall descend into the world of the unknown and forbidden, down into the depths where the veil of time is lifted and the supernatural reigns as king. Come with me and listen to an original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Shadow People. Somewhere along the line of your life, you've met them. You've come in contact with the Shadow People. When did they first discuss it? Brian, Elaine, and David. It was in David's apartment. There was only one light on in the entire place.
What's wrong?
Oh, it's silly, I know, but I thought I saw something in that doorway over there. Over there, right over there. Where are you going, David?
There, you see, Elaine? Nothing's wrong. Nothing at all.
Are you satisfied that there's no one else here but us?
Yes, I'm sorry. I just thought that I'd leave the overhead lights on.
I'm sorry, I thought that you...
Put them back on, David, please.
All right, Elaine.
Well, what's bothering you, sis?
I don't know. It's just... I don't know.
Tell us about it, Elaine. Tell us what's bothering you.
Promise that you won't laugh at me?
Of course not.
Brian?
Well, Elaine, I am your brother. If something's troubling you, I'd like to know about it.
All right, then. The reason I was so upset was the fact that I saw someone or something standing in that archway.
But Elaine, David showed you that there was no one else in here. When the lights were put on, you saw for yourself that we were alone.
I'm not talking about something you can see in the light, Brian. I'm not talking about a human being.
Then what's this all about, Elaine?
In darkness, I saw something that can't be seen in a lighted area. And I've seen it several times before.
You sure you're not imagining this, Elaine?
Oh, I don't have that good of an imagination,
How
Brian.
long have you seen this thing, Elaine?
Well, it started about 6 weeks ago. You were in Detroit on business, Brian, and Mom and Dad were on vacation. I was in the house by myself in the library. There was only one light on, and I sat beneath it in a chair reading. Several times I thought that something was watching me. I felt there was someone in the room with me, standing right behind me, and every so often I would glance over my shoulder, but there seemed to be nothing there. And then I thought I heard somebody whispering. I wasn't sure, but when I heard it again, I got up and I looked all over the house. Oh, and I'm not that easily frightened, you guys know that, but when I heard it again, I went out to the hallway and it was entirely black. Luckily, Luckily, I was near a light switch, and I looked back over my shoulder, and I saw this huge, hulking shape for the first time, and I heard a voice, or rather the whisper of a voice. I couldn't distinguish the words, but that dark shape seemed to be moving towards me. My hand was on the light switch, and I turned it on. The minute the light flooded the hallway, the shape was gone. There was nothing there, and I was alone again. As long as there's light, I know it can't hurt me. I know it can't reach me.
Well, you might have just imagined it, you know?
Of course, that's entirely possible, but I'm sure I didn't. It was so real. So real, that shape in the darkness. It was the very essence of evil itself.
There was an old doctor David knew of, a Dr. Hecelius. David had heard that she knew quite a good deal of the supposed supernatural manifestations which had taken place in the world. David went to her to see if she knew anything that might explain the events of the story Elaine had told them.
Yes, my good sir, what do you wish?
I have an appointment with Dr. Hecelius.
Oh, yes, she mentioned something about it. You were Mr. Drake?
Yes.
If you'll come inside.
Thank you.
Dr. Hecelius is in the study. Please come with me. Doctor, a visitor for you.
Oh, yes, bring him in. You may go now.
Yes, doctor.
Mr. Drake,
Yes.
sit down, please, in that chair over there.
Thank you, doctor.
Now, what is the nature of your visit to me?
Well, I understand, Dr. Hecelius, that you have a great knowledge of the supernatural manifestations which have occurred on the earth.
Great knowledge, Mr. Drake. No, hardly that. I have only scratched the surface of my years of study. Perhaps I can help you. Then again, perhaps I cannot.
Well, may I tell you a story?
By all means, my good sir.
All right, now, this didn't happen to me, doctor, but to my fiancée. It seems that about 6 weeks ago when she was alone. But when the light was on, the dark form disappeared. And that's the story, doctor, as much of it as I can remember.
Mm-hmm. I see. It's a strange tale you tell.
I'm fully aware of that, Dr. Hecelius.
You say she seemed to hear whispered voices?
Yes, that's what she says.
I see. A moment, please. I have a book in my files. Oh, yes. Here it is. I believe this is the one. Yes. Perhaps I may be able to help you after all. Let me see. This is a very ancient book, Mr. Drake. I seem to remember. Yes, here's an account of a happening such as you relate. And we shall live on the earth, and they shall not see us. Yes, it has been foretold by the ruler of the darkness.
They who live by day and retire to sleep by night shall never know that we walk with them, that we watch them, that we wait for our chance. Only in the night will they see us. For in the daylight we are not seen. Only in the night, when the darkness grows together, and the forms of the shadow people are shaped from the blackness,
they will know of us, and they will know that we are their companions, for we are the shadow people. I knew I had read something similar to the story you have told me, Mr. Drake.
Dr. Hecelius, what can we do?
Well, give me a little time. Let me see if I can find any more references to these people of the darkness. One more thing, Mr. Drake.
Yes?
Be sure that your fiancée is never left alone at night. Be sure that there is some living thing, animal or human, which accompanies her every second of the night. For she is in danger, Mr. Drake. A terrible danger.
We will continue with our production of The Shadow People after these messages.
Another public service announcement from Brill Cream. Men, beware. Use 1 dab of Brill Cream. Just a little dab makes your hair look excitingly clean, disturbingly healthy. This man dared to use 2 dabs and now he's in trouble. We refuse to be responsible.
Brill cream.
Brill cream.
Brill cream. A little dab will do ya. Brill cream. You look so debonair. Brill cream. The gals will all pursue ya. They'll love to get their fingers in your hair.
My My complexion's so bad. I hate to go out.
Don't be a square. Try Tings, the fastest way to clear up pimples.
Yes, doctors' half-face test proves Ting medicated cream dries up pimples more effectively than any other product tested. Here's why. Boys and girls have overactive oil glands. Excessive oil clogs pores, causing pimples. But Tings blots up oil faster, more completely than any other product. In lab tests, Tings completely absorbed oil in 15 minutes. Hours later, other products still had not. No, hiding pimples won't help heal them. No mere cover-up can work like Tings antiseptic medication. Remember, doctors' half-face test proved Tings better in every case. Better than any other remedy tested. Applied at bedtime, greaseless, stainless. Tings dries to oil-absorbing powder that clings all night. Even helps heal acne-type blemishes. Don't let externally caused pimples spoil your fun. Get Ting medicated clean. T-I-N-G. See thrilling improvements overnight or your money back.
Back now to our story, an original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Shadow People. That night, the night of the day David had seen Hecelius, Elaine's mother, died. She died in her sleep. When she failed to appear for breakfast, Elaine's father went upstairs to see what was wrong. When he entered her room, he discovered that she was dead. The family doctor couldn't explain it, for Elaine's mother had been in perfect health. A few weeks later, David was out at the house spending the weekend with them. He glanced at the clock on the mantel, and it showed 11.
I can't understand why Brian hasn't returned from town.
Oh, well, he said he had some extra work to catch up on. He told me this morning he might be late.
Well, 11 o'clock. I'm going upstairs. Glad you came out, David. Good seeing you again.
It's a pleasure to be here, sir.
Well, don't stay up too late. See you both in the morning. Good morning.
Good night, Dad.
Good night, Mr. Davis.
He isn't the same David. Ever since Mother died, he hasn't been the same.
I didn't realize that until tonight.
I only
He's
hope he'll
changed.
start living again. Ever since she died, it seemed a part of him died with
Elaine, have you seen anything else since you spoke to me last?
No, I haven't. Ever since Mother died, nothing's happened.
Well, I only hope that means...
What's that?
It came from upstairs, come on!
Oh, you don't think...
I don't know what to think. I only hope that...
Oh, David, if anything's happened to him!
We'll see in a moment.
There's no light in his room.
You wait here, Elaine. Where's the light?
Over to your left. David, what's wrong? Why didn't you leave the light on?
Your father's dead, Elaine.
From that room, there had come that eerie, quiet laughter. In the darkness of that room was some unknown evil power. The voice itself was unearthly. There was no substance to it. It sounded as if it came from the darkness itself.
No, I don't believe
It's the truth, Elaine. There's nothing more I can do. We'll have to notify the police.
Tell me it's not the truth, David. Tell me
I'm
it's
sorry,
not.
Elaine. I wish I could. Your father's dead.
After the burial, Dr. Hecelius got in touch with David. She said that she wanted to meet both Elaine and Brian, and that she wanted to talk to the three of them. Accordingly, a few nights later, she came out to their house.
Miss Davis, will you tell me just when you saw the first manifestation?
The night Brian was in Detroit.
Now, Miss Davis, you have seen this apparition in the company of other people. Is that correct?
Yes, the night at David's apartment.
All right. Now, I tell you what I think. You are in deadly danger, Miss Davis. These beings want to claim you. So far, they have had no success. Only in the darkness do they have power. Little by little, step by step, they have been removing the obstacles in their way to reaching you. First your mother and then your father, Miss Davis. Both died in the same fashion, in the darkness, thus struck at them. Now tell me, do you feel the presence here, in this room, as I talk to you?
Yes.
Turn out the light, Brian.
But what about
Stand by the switch if you please, Brian. If anything happens, turn the lights back on.
All right.
Dr. Hecelius, I don't think that it's
Do you want me to continue working with you?
Yes, doctor.
All right, then. Brian, turn off the lights.
Yes, doctor.
The room now is in darkness, Miss Davis. Do you feel or see anything?
No, Yes, I do.
Do you see anything?
Yes.
Doctor, I don't think we should be
Be
doing
quiet,
this.
you fool. I know what I'm doing.
In front of me, the darkness is gathering together into a huge, terrible,
Not only do you see us, Miss Davis, but everyone else in the room also will see the vague shapes forming themselves in the blackness. We do not want you, Dr. Hecelius. The girl we want. We advise you to drop this case.
Drop this case.
You'll only bring down the wrath of the shadow people upon your head. The girl. We want the girl. Do not stop us. Let us take her now!
Lights! Turn on the lights!
They're gone.
Miss Davis, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Just as she said, the darkness, I saw it form into something too.
So did I. What are we gonna do, Dr. Hecelius?
At the present moment, I don't know. But this much I do know. You must leave this house immediately. You must try to get out of their reach. I don't know if that is possible. I hope it is. I shall have to return to my home. I must learn if there is some manner by which we can defeat these creatures. For the moment, leave this house. Dispose of it in any manner you may see fit. But leave this house.
Stay tuned for the conclusion of The Shadow People after these messages.
You boys and girls won't object to Grove's emulsified nose drops. There's nothing unpleasant about them. They don't run out of your nose and make you messy. They don't run down the back of your throat and make you sick. What's more, they don't burn or sting the inside of your nose. They quickly check a head cold and get to it in a nice way. These nose drops are something brand new and a big improvement on old-fashioned oil drops. Mother's interested in getting results when you have a cold in the head, and she'll get results much faster with Grove's emulsified nose drops. In every section of the country, Grove's emulsified nose drops are selling at an amazing rate. That's because they are better in every way. Tell Mother to procure a bottle at the corner drugstore.
Broma-seltzer, 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 broma-seltzer.
Friends, it is so foolish to suffer with an ordinary headache when Broma-seltzer gives you such fast, pleasant, three-way relief.
It's true, Mr. Shively. Bromo seltzer is so pleasant to take, and it works so fast to help your headache all three ways.
Yes, Broma-seltzer speedily fights the headache pain itself. Then it goes right to work to soothe upset stomach, jangled nerves that often may team up with a headache. Try it next time you get a headache. Prove to yourself just how fast it works to help your headache all three ways.
We've tried a lot of headache products, but it's Bromo seltzer from now on for our family.
And now for the conclusion of our story, an original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Shadow People. They spent the night in David's apartment, all three of them. The following day, Brian and Elaine made arrangements to dispose of the house. In the afternoon, Dr. Hecelius called David and asked that he come to see her.
David, I'm glad you're here.
Anything new, Doctor?
Yes and no. You realize, of course, that this spiritual manifestation is not new, that it has gone on for centuries.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
It's true, David. Dave Maupassant wrote what was supposedly a fiction story about the manifestation. He called it the Horla. However, according to the information here on my desk, it was taken from an actual case history. Of course, he embroidered the story and added a few touches to something he didn't realize actually existed.
But have you found anything with which we can fight them?
Everything depends upon an answer I received from a colleague of mine in Paris, Dr. Henry Renaud. I dispatched a telegram to him last night.
Well, why hasn't he answered by now?
There are certain things that must be done. It will take a few days, I'm afraid. We have to wait, David. There's nothing else we can do.
In the next few days, the house was sold and Brian and Elaine moved into a newer, more modern home, a few miles from David's apartment. Hecelius said it might take a few days for them to build up their power. David spent the nights at the new house. The lights were left on, and David stayed up and watched for any unusual occurrences. In the daytime, David returned to his apartment to get some sleep. About 4 days after Elaine and Brian moved into the new house, Hecelius phoned David.
Hello?
David?
Yes, Dr. Hecelius?
I hate to tell you this, David.
What's the matter? What's wrong?
They were a step ahead of me, David. I just received word that Renat died, or was killed. At the very moment, I sent a telegram to him.
Step by step, they had outwitted David, Elaine, and Brian, for they had anticipated every move they had made. Even Dr. Hecelius was at a loss of what to do. She agreed to meet the three at the Davis house.
What did you want to see us about, Dr. Hecelius?
Did you find out anything more?
I'm sorry to say that I haven't. At the moment, I'm at a complete loss. I don't know what to do.
But what did you want to see us about this evening?
Merely to check to see if anything else has happened, Miss Davis. Have you seen or heard anything?
Oh, not in the house, only in my dreams.
Your dreams?
Yes. When I go to sleep at night, in my dreams, in the darkness, I see them.
Then it's grown worse. Much worse. I was hoping that it would not have progressed so far. There has been no disturbance in this house, but now they disturb your sleep, Miss Davis. Now you must stay awake for as long as you can. I want the three of you to move into my house. Perhaps that will give you more protection.
That night, all of them moved over to Hecelius's house. From there, they might be able to devise some plan of action, some way to beat those beings. For a few days, things were quiet. The shadow people seemed to have withdrawn. For a while, David thought that they might have succeeded in thwarting the shadow people's purpose. Elaine no longer complained of troubled sleep. But that condition lasted for a few days only. About 10 days later, they made themselves known and felt again. That night, while in the study, suddenly Hecelius whirled around and...
Elaine, what are you looking at?
Outside the house, right where the light leaves off, I see them.
She's right, Dr. Hecelius. I can see them
What
too.
should we do, Doctor?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
There's nothing we can do.
We can't just sit here and
We
wait
can't
for
do
them.
anything, Brian. Don't you understand that they have us at their mercy? Greatest man in my field was Henry Renault. If he could do nothing against them, what do you think we can do?
She's right, Brian. There's nothing we can do.
As long as the house remains lit, they must remain outside. If the lights were to...
That sounds
My
like...
father was killed. The same sound. We heard the same sound.
The lights. What's happened to the lights?
Be quiet, please.
Around you, in every room of the house, in the darkness, outside, we are around you. This time you shall not escape. This time we will claim you.
Take it easy, Brian.
I can't stand it. I'm getting out of here.
Brian, come
Don't
back!
be a fool. I'm going after him.
Stay here.
We can't just let him go.
He won't have a chance. I doubt if he makes it. Miss Davis, I'm afraid that your brother is dead.
The wind, Doctor. Listen to the wind.
I know.
Yes, Doctor. Listen to the wind.
Listen to the wind.
You must realize by now that the three of you haven't a chance. You must know in your minds that we can destroy you at any moment we desire. But, Dr. Hecelius, you may still save your own life. Let the others go. Give them to us.
No. No, you will have to take all of us.
Shall we destroy your life? Shall we move in on you now?
As you wish. Do as you will. I'm sorry, David. The candle is out.
In the darkness, the figures in the darkness. We warned you, Hecelius.
No, please.
You and the others are dead. And we shall live on the earth, and men in the day shall not see us. They will know that we wait for our chance.
No.
That we walk with them. Only in the night, when the darkness grows together and the form shaped from the blackness will they see us.
Get away.
Then they will know that we are their companions.
No.
Look next to you.
No, no, please!
There, in the shadows.
So runs tonight's tale of the unusual, the terrifying, the unknown. The cast was Morgan Zavoril as Elaine, Noah Clauser as David, Trevor Pruitt as Brian, Emma Hackett as Dr. Hecelius, Cassie Williams as Woman, Spencer Shively as Mr. Davis. The Shadow was played by Alexis Milan, Courtney Deeds, and Krista Barth. Jessica Andrews was your narrator, and Courtney Deeds and Krista Barth were our Foley artists. Special thanks to Stephanie Reefer and Michael York for keeping the wheels turning. We also want to thank Dr. Trent Hollinger and the Culver-Stockton College's Department of Music and the faculty of the Culver-Stockton College's Department of English. All characters and events portrayed in these programs are fictional, and any similarities to actual events or persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Thank you for tuning in to the Culver-Stockton College Theater Department's Radio Workshop.